Ladies and gentlemen, dreamers and doers, entrepreneurs of all ages, welcome back to Kinetic Customs. My name is Drew, and today we're going to be working on a pair of shoes that shouldn't look too foreign. These are the Galactic Yeezys that I painted a couple months back when the 350 Boost in cream white restocked. I got myself a pair and I wore them till they got dirty, and I painted them with this really cool galactic colorway, and now the soles are starting to peel a little bit, or kind of the midsole here is about to peel off, and it's seen better days, and I think it's been well loved, well worn, and I've learned a lot about different techniques with painting shoes from this shoe, and I think it's rightful now that we do an update and repaint these guys with a new design and do a couple new things in the process. So first of which is I actually changed paint, or I'm going to be trying a new brand of paint. This is Jacquard brand paint. For the longest time, I've been repping Angelus. Angelus is, well, not repping in the sense that they sponsor me, but I've been using their paints. Angelus is great. They're really great if you're using brushes, so if you're doing everything by hand, they go on really, really well. But with the consistency of the paint as it stands, like out of the bottle, it's kind of laborious to get it thinned out and able to go through an airbrush, whereas Jacquard is actually airbrush paint from the get-go, so you don't have to do any thinning or anything like that. I've heard a lot of really great stuff about this paint, especially from the airbrush aspects, and nothing against Angelus. Like I said, they make an amazing, amazing paint, and they have tons and tons of colors. But I figured I'd give this a try, since primarily I'm doing airbrushing, and I figure since that's my main mode of putting paint onto shoes, that this makes a little bit more sense. So what we're going to be doing, and the reason that these two colors were chosen over the vast number of other colors that Jacquard has, is because we're going to be painting a water style design onto this shoe. The idea being that we're going to do a little bit of a gradient from dark blue or turquoise up into a lighter blue, kind of this opaque blue color. And then we're going to add a koi fish on top of it. And the reason I chose a koi fish is just because I'm unwrapping this paint as I go. I really love koi fish. I think nature gives us some of the most beautiful things to paint and to represent. And I haven't seen a koi fish shoe done, much less a koi fish Yeezy 350 Boost done. So I figured kois are pretty cool, and I like water, and I like kind of Eastern art and Japanese art and water and stuff and fishes, so why not do a koi? So without further ado, let's kick in, get started with this paint, and see what we get. And here we are once again, ladies and gentlemen. So here I am laying down a base coat of just regular opaque blue. And one thing that was really tricky with this particular shoe was the base color was a dark black, basically, with purple and blue, so masking off black is very, very hard to do. You actually have to layer on a lot of color to get over black. Whereas with white, it's like you just kind of put the color over it and then you're good to go. So building up a lot of color here, trying to get a little bit of a gradient effect here. You'll see me in just a couple seconds start adding a little bit of white and kind of mixing up these colors to get a lighter and lighter hue as I go up and build this kind of gradient. If you ever look at water, you'll notice that the top of the water is usually a lot lighter than the bottom. That's because when light penetrates through water, it tends to blend out the further down you go, because there's particles and everything like that. There's a lot of physics to it, but long story short, water's always brighter at the top versus at the bottom. So I started to get lighter and lighter as I went up to really get that water effect that I wanted. And then I started painting these kind of ripple lines, and I lay down like a base color as kind of the background, and then I go over those lines with pure white. And it looks all right. I think the scale at which I was doing it, it didn't look the best. Usually when you look at white, the ripple lines are really, really small. If you see any at all, it takes a lot of light actually to diffract water in that way. So here I am trying it, and it looks all right, and then I put the patch down and I try and glue it down, and I learned very quickly that gluing patches to canvas or fly knit material like the 350 Boosts are made of, it just doesn't work, and these guys end up looking like total
Wait a minute!
Nani?
So then I had another idea. The patch that I'm putting on there is black and gold, and black works really good. I've always really admired the Pirate Black's V1 350 boost, so here I am blacking out this shoe like a game of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. It's funny because there's a game mode called Blackout in that game, in case you didn't know. Anyway, enough dad jokes for now. So blacking these shoes out, getting just a flat coat of black on top of it, and then I start actually sewing in the patches using a couple tutorials that I found on YouTube. There's some really great customizers who look at stitching onto shoes specifically. And so I looked at a couple of their videos and I got my needle out and started sewing, and yeah, it went really well. I was surprised. The stitching got the patch to stick to the shoe naturally a lot better than the glue did, and after a little bit of stitching, I got all of the patch weighed down and sitting nicely on the contour of the shoe. And I think that's the biggest thing. You want to make sure that the patch is contoured to the shoe, so as you walk it kind of moves with you versus, you know, splitting and breaking off. So here I am writing out the word koi fish on the side in Japanese, and I use a nice gold metallic paint from Angelus. And this one, since I'm doing it by brush, I actually did it using just the plain old Angelus. So here we are with some B-reel, and enjoy. Alrighty, ladies and gents, so the Yeezys are done, and as I say with most of my customs, I am completely blown away with how these came out. I think that's mostly because I don't stop working on a shoe until I'm completely satisfied with it, but yeah, the patches worked out really well. I ended up having to punch some holes for the laces, and that was a lot easier than I anticipated because I thought it was going to be a little bit difficult, and I was worried that the patch was going to fray, but it's holding together and they look amazing. They look very three-dimensional, which is a great look. Got the word for koi fish here on the side. I got to practice my katakana, I think that's how you say it, katakana skills, or calligraphy skills. I think katakana is the name of the script that they use in Japanese, but if not, I will put the proper word right here, because I'm ignorant. But anyway, yeah, I love how these came out. They look amazing on feet, and yeah, I'm totally stoked. I'm going to be wearing these left and right, and couldn't be more proud with how they came out. So I'm glad you guys stopped by for this custom. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram at Kinetic Customs, and be sure to subscribe here on YouTube to see whenever we put out new videos. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, leave a thumbs down. I learned just as much from the thumbs down as I do from the thumbs up. Also, be sure to leave a comment if you liked the look of these shoes, or if you think they could have been done a little bit better, whatever you so choose. But as always, friends, thanks again for stopping by. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And as always, as we say around here, keep moving.